there are more possibilities than only working in the game industry. So having said that, I want to show you our leader, and that gives you a kind of idea of what our students are working on. So all the things that you can see in this leader has been made by our students during the last couple of years. Okay, did the music work, Vele?
Oh, you can now hear the music.
Okay, well, no, we have to to work on that for the next time. Okay, but anyway, it was about the moving images. Yeah, so we say that actually, also compared to other courses we have at Saxion, we have, of course, the most awesome course because we're doing a lot of cool things. Most important things is that when you are starting to study, you can choose your own destiny, and we mean with own destiny that you can make a choice what kind of direction you want to go. So, if you want to be an artist, you can do the artist program, but also combine maybe with some design things or also engineering things. So you can in a way choose your own program. I will explain something about that more when you are going to the third and the fourth year of the course. We have a lot of applied projects. So also in the first and the second year we have projects, and we try to find also real clients, and we try to get as close to the real industry as possible. So also in the first and the second year, you learn a lot of skills, a lot of different skills. Maybe Vele can later tell you more about that because he's in the middle of it now. And also the program is international. And that means that we have, I think 60% of our students are coming from abroad, which means that you can make a lot of international friends, building up a good network. And that's always good for, especially for this kind of work, because we don't teach to become a employee in the industry in your own country. Actually, you can work for the whole world. And that's really important that you also have contact with students already there that come from abroad during your study. Okay, we have, and I already mentioned all three of them. We have three different roles. One role is an artist, one role is a engineering, and one role is a designer. And we are doing this now since this year. We have a kind of new curriculum, and you can choose to become an artist, but you can also choose to have a side track, and that's a designer or an engineer. I will go into detail later on that, but The idea is that when you become an artist, you have to do the full program for the artist. And this means, for instance, that you have to do the program for a 3D artist and technical environment artist. So these are the two branches that you are actually obligatory to follow. There's a lot of information, and I'm not going too deep in this information here because in the next slide I have a greater, more simple explanation of how you can work in our course. But actually, in the two first years, you are going to choose a role, and you're going to work on that role. So there are lectures, we call it boot camps now, in which you have to work on that role. But you can also choose a different branch. So I already explained, for instance, you started an artist, but you can also choose one branch for a designer or one branch for an engineer. And during the course, you can every semester you can make another choice. So you can actually choose your own path during the second and the first and the second year. Actually, everything is based on Unity. So all lectures that we have are based on Unity. So even when you're an artist, you have to work with Unity, also to get the knowledge, of course, of these main mechanics, how you're going to work on your designs. And besides that, during the first and the second year, you're also working on your professional skills. We call it the soft skills, but I will explain later more of that. Okay, to make it more easy and simpler to understand, you can work on your own profile. For instance, you want to be an artist. In the second year, you have the role of an artist, so you have to work on the role of 3D artist and a technical environment artist. Like this, but you can also, then you have, in the second semester, you have the boot camps, so the lectures about art fundamentals, so that will take half a year. But you can also choose, for instance, you say, I want also to be a designer, and my goal is also to have more lectures about narrative design. And then you also have in the second year, in the first semester, you have design fundamentals. So during the second year, you have the lectures art fundamentals and design fundamentals. When you have questions about that, you can also open your mic or ask some things in the chat if you want. And later on, I can also...
I think in order for the mics to work, we have to turn it on for people. So we can turn it on for people if they want to say something, and otherwise they can send it in the chat, I think.
Okay.
Because I have like a setting, and I think people can't find their mic right now.
Oh.
I think we have to turn it on.
Okay, you are able to turn it on, Philip?
Yeah, I think so. I can just turn it on for people, I think, individually.
Because I only see my screen. Okay, but you can also choose, for instance, this is the track for artist, and you have a side track for a narrative designer. But you can then, when you continue in the second semester, you can also say, well, I also want to do something on interactive storytelling because you want to be a narrative designer. And of course, it's obligatory as an artist to work on world building and modeling in the second semester. So this is a kind of track you can follow. But if you are an engineer, you have program fundamentals in the first semester. And when you say, well, but I want also something with design, I want to have more information and more lectures about game design, then you do the design fundamentals. So in this case, the programmer is choosing the program fundamentals and the design fundamentals. And then in the second semester of the first year, you can continue on as a game designer on the level design. And then, of course, you have because you have chosen for being an engineer, you have game programming and 3D math. So actually, this is the way how you can choose your own path, and we continue the same way in the second year. Okay, so how do we teach? I think most important is that we focus on teamwork. We have a lot of teamwork in our lectures. The only thing is we have also boot camps, for instance, for the design, engineering, and art fundamentals. We have boot camps, and then you work on your own project, but you have a lot of time for that. So actually one semester. So the boot camps are always ended with a project in which you in a team and have to apply the things that you learn during the boot camps and also during your pro skills. And pro skills, we mean that we do things with how to work in a team, how to communicate, all these things that you also need when you are working in the industry after your graduation. We don't have exams, so we don't have written exams. The only thing is that you have to do is you have to work on projects and hand in the final results of the projects, and we grade that. So nothing in writing. We don't have a lot of books. The books that you have to read are things maybe you have to use during the boot camps. We prepare a lot of slides for that. Actually, the most important thing is that you have to buy before we start the lectures, is to have a good computer in which you can find a lot of information that also we provide. And also, yeah.
Paula has a question regarding how many students could be in a class, how many students can be admitted this year?
Well, we admit as many students as possible because there is no numerous fixes. So we have an intake, and when you pass this intake, which I will explain later about this intake, but then, well, we have to get you as a student, and mostly we have about 200 students a year, but it differs. Sometimes we have 250. Last year we had 160, so it differs per year. And in the class we have mostly we try to have classes not more than 60 students. During the boot camps, we combine classes because we also have 2 teachers in one class. So then we have about 30 students in one class. But these boot camps will take a whole day. So you have a whole day. You are actually with each other in a room working on your own projects. Have some lectures in between and working in between. And then you will be coached by the 2 teachers who are in that room. But actually, a normal class is about 16 students. I was talking about the portfolio. It's important that you have a good portfolio as a creative student, and because also you're going to start with your internship in the 3rd year. The companies don't look at your grades. They look at your capacity and for being an engineer or for being a designer or artist or a combination of it. And the best thing is that you can show that in your portfolio. And that's also why we're working on the portfolio already in the 1st year. We start in the 1st semester, actually right away on creating the portfolio. And during the 1st and 2nd year, you can improve your portfolio so you are ready to apply for an internship for the 3rd year. Yes, the next thing, I was already talking about the 3rd year, and in the 3rd year you're going to specialize, and there are 2 options. You can, in this 1st semester, you can do your internship, so in a company, in a real company, or you can do a minor, and a minor you can choose. Actually, this is a kind of all I don't know if a lot of international students are not aware of what a minor is, I noticed, but all kind of schools of applied science, University of Applied Science, they have minors, and this means that you can follow a kind of course, and you're free to follow whatever course you want. So, for instance, if you are an artist and you want to go to an Academy of Art and do some painting, maybe you can go to an Academy of Art and have have a minor that specializes in painting, or for instance, you can go to Finland in Helsinki. There is a school they have minors, and you can do a 3D course for 1 semester. So you can actually go away from Saxion and find another place, another school, in which you can go deeper and specialize in a certain topic that you want. Also, we have our own minors at Saxion, but there is a lot of choice. But you will get information about that when you are in the second year. And so you're free to do in the third year to start with a minor or the internship or vice versa. That's actually up to you. Then in the fourth year we have a project and we call it IMTNS, and that means that you're going to work in a team, in a project team for a real client. Real clients have real projects, and mostly you have to do a lot of research, but also the projects can vary from doing making a game, but also making something for virtual reality for hospitals. Or last year we had a project, students had to make digital characters for well, it's not a company. It's a theater in Oslo and a theater in Finland and Oulu. So the projects are really different, and you can have a kind of choice what kind of project you want to get in. But actually, in this IMTNS project, we try to prepare you already for your graduation. And because the graduation, you have to do 1 semester also in a company. So in total, when you see in year 3 and year 4, when you do the minor abroad or in another school, and of course you have to do the internship in a company, and your graduation in a company, you are actually 1.5 years not here at Saxion, but having a lot of practice in companies abroad or in the Netherlands itself. I have a movie without sound, I think, but it's about the video itself. So here are some examples of how the students working in the fourth year in the project that they do for real time. Okay, some highlights. We have also master classes, actually, but it was a long time ago. We have contact with a visual effects supervisor. It's called Julian Foddy. He's working for a lot of. He's doing a lot of special effects for Star Wars. It's really great to have him always here in our school. We have our reality check festival in which people from different companies come to Saxion, tell something about their business, and also you can, as a student, show your work, and if it's suitable for the industry, and you can ask them about internships and final graduation positions. We have game jams, a few every year, and also the students themselves, they organize a lot of projects. So that's really cool, actually, to do a lot of things beside the normal lectures and projects that we have at CMGT. And we have our own community, and it's called XP, the Student Saxion Association, and yeah, actually, we have a lot of events. This is a picture of our yearly event in which we have to wear, well, actually, clothes that we're not used to normally, but we teach in it, and the students have to come with it, and afterwards we have a lot of fun with drinks. Veerle, you were also once there, or are you in this picture?
Yeah, I was here last time we did this. It's always really
Okay.
fun because everyone just shows up in a onesie and then you're talking with your teachers or with your study coach, running around, all in a onesie. So it's just fun, and then we always take a big picture together with everyone.
Yeah, that's always fun. I think in the beginning was a little bit awkward, but we got used to it. I think we did it now for the third
It's a,
year.
it's always one of those things where it's just like these are the things you don't normally do, right, in your day-to-day life. And
Yeah.
it's really nice that the study gives moments where we can kind of just do things that are like a one of a lifetime, where I guess once a year, things that you just do just because it's fun and just because, how cool is it to have done this once. So that's
Okay.
always the way I look at it. There was also a question from Nuramir regarding
Okay.
Unreal Engine, if that's being used. I think I know the answer to this because I believe we use mainly Unity for everything, though some students opt to take Unreal Engine for MTNS, and I believe it's becoming an elective, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's true. In the fourth year, or in the second year, in the fourth semester, you can also get some courses about Unreal. Yeah, actually, Unity has been chosen as a base for the first and second year. I don't know why. It could also have been Unreal, but actually our engineering teachers chose it for Unity. But the idea is when you can work with Unity, you can also work with Unreal. I see a lot of students who are in the third and fourth year switch to Unreal. But it depends. It depends actually on the student. I don't know, Phil, how it works with you, but my experience is that a lot of artists, they like Unreal, and engineers like Unity.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know the specifics on that. I do know that some people opt to choose Unreal mainly when they start a big IMTNS project that some groups switch over.
Yeah, actually, in IMTNS in the fourth year, they use it a lot of times. Yeah. I know that Unreal has more assets or more creative artistic no, how do you say it? Artistically assets. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have a lab, extended reality XR lab, and in this lab we do a lot of research on virtual reality, visual effects, and augmented reality. And well, you can use it if you want. You can also have your internship there, and also some students do their graduations in the lab. But there are a lot of possibilities for students if they want to work in our extended reality lab. Yeah, some examples, because I already also started with, okay, how easy is it to get a job? And sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it's easy. It also depends on your skills, on your portfolio, but also on your network. I think networking is really important. But here are some examples of how students show themselves in LinkedIn. For instance, Daniel worked at, he's working still at Guerrilla Games, And well, I think most students here want to work in Amsterdam at Guerrilla Games because they also made Horizon Zero Dawn. Arjen is a lead developer in VR innovations. Lucia is more into interaction design. And then we have Oliver, and he is working at a company who is making a lot of 3D simulations and animations. So you see, you have a lot of directions, also what I told in the beginning. So not all our students are ending up in a game company, but it's of course your own choice, and also well, what the best chance for every student is to get a job opportunity, of course. Yeah,
Herman.
and of course you can also do a master after this course.
Yeah, that was a question that Paula had, whether a pre-master is necessary after graduating, or if they can follow a master directly.
That's a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A pre-master is necessary when you want to do a university master. For instance, at the University Twente, UT, that's also written here. But there are also University of Applied Science masters, and you don't have to do a pre-master for that. Some masters are 1 year, and also some masters are 2 years, so that differs. But you have a lot of time to look at the possibilities for masters. We also have, since we start next year with our own master, that's also based on extended reality. So it differs. But when you want to do a master for a university, you have to do a pre-master. Because there is a difference between a university of applied sciences, that we are, or a university which is more academic. Okay, yeah, some things, because well, when you sign up for next year, you have to sign up before the 1st of May. So you're now too late for it, but you have a lot of time to do it for next year, the 1st of May. Of course, we have open days. We have also taster days. This means that you can well, come to school and join a class and well, see what the class is doing for during one day. We have that online, but we also have that in our school, so at Saxion in Enschede, and you can register for it also next year. So well, keep track of our website, and then you will find this information if you are interested. We have assistance for special needs always. We provide study coaching, so every student get a study coach. And yeah, actually, yeah, and I think that's important because I didn't mention it before. We have an intake assignment. When you look at our website, you can also download the PDF of this assignment. Shortly, the assignment, we have to see if you are have some technical skills. It doesn't have to be too technical, depends on the direction that you're choosing. You have to be creative. That doesn't mean that you are good in drawing, but creative thinking is very important. And also the way you communicate is also important. But actually you have to, in short, you have to make a game for yourself and show it, make a video of it, and show how you, well, make that game. And in this way, we can see if you are creative, if you can come up with innovative ideas, if you have a little bit idea how to program and how to communicate your game. But you can read it in the PDF, and of course, when you have more questions, you can also contact well, one of our employees at school. But you have a lot of time for it since the well, the sign up has been closed since the 1st of May.
Herman?
Yeah.
Do you know, Paula had a question. They have to make the STD game for the intake. Are they able to use assets from the web?
Yes. Yeah.
I believe so, right?
Yeah. Especially when you're an engineer and you're not good into well, into designing or to create art, then of course, yeah. We are not. I don't know how you experience the intake, Philip, but we're not that tough.
Yeah, it's to my knowledge, the intake, it seems like a very scary thing. Because
Yeah,
it's
I
like, oh my
know.
God, I have to make this. But the way that I kind of know about it and that I always view it is obviously our, study is creative media and game technologies, and a lot of people like gaming. So the intake is purely just to show to people there is a difference between playing games and making games. But it's really once you show, hey, I'm motivated to actually want to make games, the intake, they're not that tough. It's
Yeah.
I think most people get in, if not, yeah.
Yeah, most people get in. Yeah, and it's also important. We always say the knife cuts at both sides, because when you have to do something, and when you're not eager to work on your intake, then I think you're also not suitable for the course, because that's what you're going to do for the next 4 years, and maybe after that in the industry. So if you don't like to work on this intake assignment, I think you're not also not interested in the course. So, and it's good that to know that on forehand already. It's good for you, but also for us as a school, of course. Okay, so why should you choose our program? And I already mentioned before, we have a broad orientation. You're free to choose your own path. We have a lot of applied projects. We're working also with the industry. There are a lot of international students, and also we have a lot of international clients that you can also work on. And we do a lot of teamwork. So, and that's also important for your soft skills, to learn how to work in a team, because that's also important in the industry. You have to work in a team, actually, when you are doing this kind of job. And most important, why should you trust the teachers? Because I always tell, because I'm working here, but the student is studying here, and well, they can tell you how it works, and that's also why Veerle is here. So I'm going to close my presentation.
Herman, there was one more question from Paula regarding portfolio. Is it good to put your best projects first or save them for last?
Can you repeat that question? Because I
whether if you're setting up your portfolio, would you put your best projects in the beginning or would you save them for last?
Well, I always recommend not to show the things that you're not proud of. I think it's better to show less than to show a lot of things.
That would be my answer too. What I would do is I would take your best work and just start with that to kind of hook people and, have them show what you can do. And then either just end it on a high, or that's what I would do as well.
Yeah, because we have the best impression of your work when you show your best. And sometimes the last is not the best, can also be the first. I don't know. And I also see a lot of students that not only show the work that they made, for instance, for a game or their engineering work, but also some students show they make music. Show that you're creative. You can also show your music, or when you have written poems or stories or whatever, everything creative or technical that you want to show it, because we only want to see if you have that talent in it. And when we are convinced, then you're hired. So it's not that hard. And we really want to have students, of course. So as I said, we don't have a numerous fixes on that. So are there more questions? And are there also questions for Veerle? I see that the mics don't work, or?
Yeah, I think so. You have to click on people, and then you can do allow video and audio broadcast, or allow audio only. I'm assuming. So if anyone wants to ask a question, you can turn that on for them.
Has everything been clear, especially the branches and the what we work with for the first and second year? Okay.
Yeah, I always tend to look at the branches kind of like a skill tree. I think that's a really fun way to explain it because, we make games anyways. So it's just like you have your main role, and then you have 3 different roles. Every role has 2 specializations. If you pick one of those 3 as your main role, you basically have to do those 2 specializations. But then out of the other 4 specializations, you can just choose whichever you want, basically. That's how I look at it always.
Okay, I see. Is character design a part of game design? Yes, it is.
It depends a little bit.
Actually, Phila, what's your role in this?
So I'm a designer, still before for the old curriculum. So I'm just purely a designer. When it comes to character design, it depends a little bit. Mainly, it goes towards both the designers and the artist. For instance, I'm currently working in a project. This is the big project known as basically the final project for your first 2 years, where I work together with some really good friends of mine who are all artists. And then when we come up with new characters, it's kind of a shared effort of either the designer going, hey, we do something like this because it fits in the character. This is what we want for the story. This would fit here. And we give like little notes. And then the artist will often just take that and they will fully finalize it and, give their personal touches on it. So it's kind of a shared effort mostly between those 2 roles. For artist or designer, programming skills. I think if you're a designer, it's nice to have some basic understanding of programming, though most of this will just be learned to you in the course. At least that was the case for me. For artists, yes and no. There are some, for instance, when you need to implement your art, there are some things that it's just good to know. And when you're working on a project, what we do is we do stand-ups where we explain to each other what we're working on. However, for both designer and artist, depending on what subclass you choose, having deep engineering skills is really not necessary. That's not needed. It's mainly if you're an engineer or if you pick one of the engineer sub courses. Language that we use is C++ or C#, mainly. It depends a little bit. So it depends a little bit on what program you're programming in. And then it also depends, earlier on they still had web, but I think they took that out. So then we also had some JSS and HTML, but they took that out, I believe. So now it's just basically what you use in Unity.
Yeah, I think you were the cohort that still uses web. Yeah.
Yeah. Study fee be the same. That stays the same depending on if you're a EU student or outside of EU student. Study fee just stays the same, I'm pretty sure. Right, Herman?
As far I know, it stays the same. I think, I think 10 years ago it was less than now, but normally it doesn't increases that fast. Yeah. I think it's 2,600. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe something around 2K is what it is, depending on if you're EU student or outside of EU student. Whole program is in English. Yeah, the entire program is in English. All the courses are taught in English. In groups, we communicate in English. Sometimes if a group is from a specific, sometimes it happens that an entire project group is from the same country. They will talk their own language together, or sometimes friends do that. But overall, everything is in English, and that's just kind of the standard.
Sometimes a lot of times it happened that we speak English to our to Dutch students and without even knowing that we speak English. I remember that we did it yesterday, Phil.
Yeah, it's just in the hallway. Even though Herman and I both speak Dutch, we just talk English. Because it's also one of those things where even though we might both speak Dutch, right? Like me and a teacher, for instance, maybe one of my friends who doesn't speak Dutch still wants to know what's going on, still wants to know what is being said. Because, asking questions, everyone can learn from that. So in general, we just talk English.
Okay, no more questions. All right, when there are no questions anymore, I want to thank everybody to be here. I think it's always great to give as many information as possible about the course, because you have to make a choice, and there are so many courses that you can follow, and it's good to have the best information possible. Of course, you can always look at our website. You can send us mails, whatever, because we're always eager to answer questions. If you want to make your choice, what kind of course you want to choose. Okay, so I want to say goodbye. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.